stand at the end of one year and on the cusp of the start of another. It seems fitting for me to look back on a totally fucked up Friday and look at what was the most fucked up story or stories of the year. And look, lots of fucked up things happened. And a lot of people focused on who died in 2016. A lot of absolute legends died, and some of the normal amount of celebrities that I think people put too much weight on their passing, but huge amounts of pop cultural icons, icons of science, icons of the arts, icons of music. It seemed bad, it seemed worse than usual, but honestly, I think there's not even a competition. The single most fucked up thing of 2016 was, without doubt, things aren't even close, a Trump presidency. See, because all the other things, particularly the deaths of celebrities and whatnot, that's like people feel bad, their stars they grew up with, their role models they grew up with are gone now. It's a reminder of mortality. It can be awful. But that's just a feeling. Trump is actually going to fuck up the lives of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people. At this point, it's impossible to tell what he would do. And of course, the worst thing about him being the most fucked up story of 2016 is it's going to roll on for 4 years, or until he gets impeached, or he quits because he realizes it's actually hard work and he didn't want to do hard work, he just wanted an ego boost. But it's unknowable. This is the weirdest thing about the Trump candidacy. Absolutely any conventional wisdom has gone out the window. In the past, contenders for the US presidency, not just for that, for other major political roles around the world, but particularly for the US presidency, even the rumors of a transgression, a single transgression, like, oh, maybe they had an extramarital affair, maybe they did something dodgy in their past, that was enough to knock someone off. But Trump embodies like the worst of humanity. He was repeatedly exposed for being a raging misogynist. He's an obviously corrupt business person. He's in the pocket of Russian oligarchs. It's really disturbing. He's a horrible, hateful, spiteful person. He did 24 things that any one of which would have sunk a presidential candidate in previous campaigns, yet for some unknown reason it didn't with him. And I don't buy into any of the post-mortems. There are little bits of truths in a lot of people's analysis, but I haven't seen any one piece of analysis that says this is it, because they always gloss over some really obvious stuff. And I want to make it very clear, I'm not pretending I have answers, because it's just fucking weird. And given that I'm a straight white male from an affluent society who has a job that pays well, the chances I personally am going to be fucked over are really quite low. But you see, I have this crazy thing where I care about other people. Yeah, I know that doesn't make sense to some people, but I actually care about people who are being fucked over by the system. And so I think the prospect of a Trump presidency is horrifying, but I don't know what it's going to be. And anyone who says they know what's going to happen is full of shit, because he's got the mentality of a fucking toddler on a sugar rush with a very overdeveloped ego and no actual real confidence. He's got the bully bluster, but the slightest blow to his ego crushes him. Like, it's pathetic to see the way he behaves and what he does on Twitter. It's like, will that translate into how he runs as president? I don't know, but it's a horrifying thought. I mean, maybe other people in his administration will stop him from doing stupid things, but he's appointing just a fucking rogues gallery of the worst in his cabinet. And this is the thing. See, I get bugged by the idea that, disenfranchised poor white people voted for him because he was an outsider who spoke his mind. It's like, how could you not tell he was going to fuck you over? You know, he's a billionaire whose any wealth he has been ill-gotten through inheritance. He's got a long track record of his businesses not paying people who work for him. He doesn't use American. He talks about bringing jobs back to America when everything with the Trump name on it is made overseas. Like, the lies were so blatant. And yes, all politicians lie. And there was that weird thing with Trump shooting from the hip and go, I just say what I'm thinking. People going, I like that. As like, did he really fool you? Did you really believe he was gonna kick out the foreigners? He was gonna clean up Wall Street. He was gonna drain the swamp. He is the swamp. He's the fucking personification of the swamp. But it's so hard to know what's going to happen because even at this early stage, before his inauguration, he's flip-flopped on so many things. He changes what he says any given day, and the neo-Nazis who think we should call them the alt-right are starting to eat themselves before he even gets in because he has no use for them now. Trump, and he's gone back to the mainstream. He's gone back to the mainstream Republican Party. He's gone back to appoint people from Goldman Sachs. So he's gone back to the conservative mainstream. He has no use for these loudmouth neo-Nazis anymore, and they're starting to eat themselves, which I love because there's this accepted wisdom, which is a complete fallacy, that the left always eats itself and the right doesn't. And the right does it as much as the left. And this is a classic example. You know, the alt-right are fighting with each other, casting people out, saying you're not part of us anymore, and people, you're just too scared to say exactly how badly the Jews control everything. And that looks like it's just going to get worse, which is good news for any decent human anywhere. If these bottom-dwelling, scum-sucking maggots turn on each other, that's the best news for decent humans everywhere. And see, this is the thing, when I say I don't know what a Trump presidency will do, I mean, it seems almost beyond doubt that anyone who's not a straight, white, Christian male is in for a bad fucking time, and I really don't see any way around that. But, like in a bigger world sense, in an economic sense, fuck knows, maybe some policies will do the right thing by accident, like he's taking this populist line on saying, oh, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, all these foreign trade deals, they should be out. I think they should be out because they're fucking terrible. He was just spouting shit off, but all his business mates, who will now have his ears, will be telling him, no, put it in, because that gives corporations more power than governments, and people no power at all, and that's what we want. So he's just as likely to flip-flop on that as anything else. But who knows? Things are so fucking weird that I refuse to try and predict where it will go. I mean, it's terrifying that someone who has such a weak, fragile ego, who lashes out at the tiniest perceived slight. It's terrifying to think of that person controlling the biggest military and the biggest nuclear arsenal in the world. And he keeps flippantly talking about fucking using nukes and spending more money on nukes, which no sane person recommends. But he's talking that up as if that's a thing sensible adults do. But maybe that's just talking shit. Who knows? It's literally impossible to know what he's doing. And that's the thing. For me, in my privileged position, it's really tempting to go, well, at least it's going to be interesting, you know? It's not going to be boring. Stuff's going to happen. It's going to be wild and crazy. It's going to be a roller coaster. You know, are we all going to fucking die? Will he start some massive war? Or will just something as simple as his terrible decisions on climate change and the next 4 years could fuck up the next 100 years. That's as simple as that. That's how critical this moment in history is. But maybe he won't fuck things up to the point we're all living a Mad Max future. I just don't know. But I've thought about it. When I think about how scary it could be and how awful it almost certainly will be, I think, what can I do? And so, look, not much, but I can do something for people who feel like no one's listening to them, to actually speak and without fear. And I've got nothing to lose except maybe never visiting America again, because they're talking about forcing you to show them your social media history when you come to enter the country, which would be bad if I had to do that. So I'll maybe never visit America again. Who knows? I've got to wait and see how that plays out. But I, do the angry thing. See, the best response I ever get from people to my videos when I'm angry is people say, you said what I was thinking, but I didn't know how to articulate. I felt better after watching that. It's like really cathartic. It got it out of my system. You shouting, you saying that stuff, and just no holds barred. That made me feel better. That's what I try to do. I mean, I'm trying to make myself feel better, and I'm trying to entertain you as an audience. But if I can make people think, oh my God, there is some sanity in the world. There is an expression of what I'm feeling happening out there. And I feel like that is going to be important. Now, what will that change? Fucking nothing. There are, surely calling him Trump should have worked. But I saw a quote recently from Kurt Vonnegut. He's talking about the Vietnam War. It's like every artist, every creative person, every public intellectual was 100% against the Vietnam War. And they made that really clear, and they made their statements, they made their art, they did their protests, and it accomplished fuck all. And I'm a bit of a traditionalist, doing the comedic ranting and whatnot. What am I? I am Shakespeare's fool. I'm the fool in King Lear's court. What can you do? When you're the fool, you can speak truth to power. Everyone else has to defer to the powers, but when you're being the funny person, you get to tell the truth. It doesn't change anything, and eventually the powerful end up beheading you, but in the meantime, you speak out. And that's what I intend to do. That's my plan for 2017 and beyond. Give people a voice. Be that angry, ranting thing that you're told you can't be. I'll do it for you. And I am going to try and explore this whole YouTube medium a bit more. I've been doing it for 10 years now. I want to reinvent myself and rediscover some passion for it. And so I might experiment with presenting things in different ways and keep up a bit of the jolly good ranting as well, and deliver more for you as an audience. So I hope you keep coming back, and I'll keep delivering to you. And even if shit happens, even if it gets ugly and awful, let's stick together and we'll see this bullshit through.